Ron Paul, woo, yeah. Check it out, folks. Yes, I was an active member of the Ron Paul Await campaign. Here's my t-shirt I have from the Bloomington meetup group. Whew. When I was in college at IU, back in those days, there were really two types of people in regards to Ron Paul. People who respected him, and people who had never heard of him because the media sidelined him. But we were out there, hopefully canvassing and spreading his message to everyone we knew and people we didn't. We did sign wavings and chalkings, and the mood was hopeful. Then he lost Super Tuesday, and things started to go odd. What I'm going to say will probably get me a lot of hate mail from libertarians. Somehow, once Ron had no chance of getting elected, the movement went insane. I remember seeing some signs of it in Bloomington group, where I was told to watch Alex Jones' Prison Planet. He presented some good facts, but the way he interpreted those facts were both unfounded, unscientific, and really just plain crazy. He had some belief that the big bankers and rich people were manipulating the scientific community, so the working class eventually would devolve into a different species of humans and act as mindless drones, while the rich people gained immortality. The man used all sorts of wild and crazy claims with no good evidence to back it up. I kind of wrote him off as a nut. Those facts were something I was glad I was aware of. Fortunately, a lot of my group were the same way. Then I did a sign waving in Indy, and nearly half the people in the Ron Paul group were uninformed conspiracy theorists who treated Alex Jones as gospel. Well, then after Paul lost the primary, people who were for Paul that I worked alongside either felt like they no longer had to keep silent about what they thought in terms of conspiracy, or their fear took over and they got swept up in the Alex Jones conspiracy craze. Suddenly I began hearing nothing but conspiracy and fear from my peers, many of whom were birthers and believed that Obama or McCain would start some sort of informant civilian police corps to keep us in line. I listened to their evidence, but I couldn't see it. Break the Matrix is a pro-Ron Paul channel that got myself and my girlfriend scared about a bill that the channel claimed would ban all foods not sold by Monsanto and big agro companies, and that would kill farmers markets. We scoured the bill for what they claimed so we could point out to legislators to the part, and the part she quoted took away small farmers' rights in the same way healthcare plan would have created Palin's death panels. I was subscribed to the channel, but every post was yet another thing we must fear, worry, and dread about because the government had some form of sadistic approach to take away all our freedoms. All hope and positiveness that Dr. Paul stood for was drowned in the gut-wrenching fear of what might happen. I've since unsubscribed to this channel after enough Chicken Little fear posts. This sort of thing just doesn't work. I am for Peter Schiff because he meticulously analyzes market data and trends using his education and experience, and he doesn't use Chicken Little arguments. His arguments are nothing but sound. He is shown over and over again, and his predictions, the market trends, have always happened. Alex Jones and Break the Matrix, none of these have happened. They just kind of speculate and conjecture. Guys, isn't the Federal Reserve and overseas wars and our destroyed dollar scary enough? Why do we have to make stuff up we can't prove instead of educating people on the stuff we do have proof of? Dr. Paul has plans and the Fed Transparency Act that we should be working hard and banding together for, just like we did during the campaign. But it seems like the Ron Paul movement has become the Alex Jones movement, and there are now three types of people who know about Ron Paul. The rabid, fearful Jones followers, the people who kind of snicker when they hear his name because it has sadly become synonymous with batshit insane, and people like me who try and distance themselves from his followers while defending Ron Paul himself. You've heard of the phrase, "Lord, save me from your followers"? Well, Ron Paul, save me from your followers. My girlfriend still just giggles when I mention Ron Paul because in her mind, Ron Paul equals birthers. When I try to explain free market capitalism, she just pats my hand and smiles, humoring me like one does a mental patient. And you know what? She has every right to do so. When did the movement of hope and freedom become the Glenn Beck fear movement that literally hijacked our Tea Party idea to make Fox News big bucks and ratings? Remember? Glenn Beck literally called us all terrorists and said we should be locked up, and we are now scared of our shadows just as much as his viewers are. We've been destroyed as a movement that I doubt will recover in time to make deep enough impact to get anyone elected in the 2010 election unless the person they are running against appears worse to the voters than our candidate has. Wake up, America. The movement is about hope and fear. I'm sorry. I just love my country, and I fear for it. Sorry. Turn off Alex Jones and take off the tinfoil hats. Obama is not going to do anything different than any other politician has. Our rights will continue to get slowly eaten away and fought back for, just like it has since the beginning of our great nation. ACLU and many of the Democrats are not going to let all these freedoms be taken away. The market is where our freedoms are being removed. Ron Paul himself has said that it is really easy to see conspiracy and incompetence, and that is exactly what is happening. So we can either jump at shadows and grasp at things in the dark while letting the Fed drive our economy into the ground, or we can stand up again and regain the respect for the enthusiasm and hope we had during the campaign. The choice is up to you. I have hope that you will go with the latter. However, I have a feeling that most of what I have to say will instead get tons of fear-filled conspirators hate-mailing my page. Good luck to all, and let freedom ring, but not shout incoherently.